Welcome Raiders to another JayRstaRaids video, and in this one I'm going to be going over the Hell Hades artifact extractor, or the Optimiser as most people might know it. We're going to be going through all the different ways you can use it in terms of building different types of champions, different types of builds when it comes to JayRstaRaids. And yeah, let's get right into it. So of course you would open up and download this from the Hell Hades website, the artifact extractor. Once you've got everything into it, and you have to have raid loaded like the way we have it right now with player and play. You'll click upload to website, then it'll bring you over here. You're gonna want to come to your champions right here. Now normally this is probably what you have to download it here, right? Download extractor first. And then once you get that, then you'll be able to go to your champions. We're gonna choose any champion. Let's check Geralt, because I kind of threw random gear on the person, on the champion. But I run, she has decent gear, right? You can see it, but it's not the greatest, right? She doesn't have crit damage gloves. She doesn't have an attack. She does have attack, but she doesn't have speed boots, right? We went double attack and crit rate. Why did we do that? Because the gear and the requirements we were trying to get were kind of hard. Well, I can get them with my gear, just with leftover gear, right? So if you see here on the left hand side, they have changed this optimizer multiple times. Like a lot. So first thing is, you're going to see your champion over here. You can see the different stats by switching here, right? Here you can just see stats. It shows the artifacts, skills, which I don't really use, and apparently you have to have a premium membership, but I don't even use that anyways. I basically don't use anything on details, because if you've been playing Raid for at least a decent amount of time, then you won't have to worry about that. Swap gear. I've actually never gone too crazy into this, me personally, because I don't really see a point when you can actually just do it in game, right? You can make presets for your champion. So if I have like let's say Donnie, right? I go to preset. You can have your own champion presets, right? Call this protection set, or full, or let's say protection out of, like, I think it's 5 out of 9. So I could just do this, right? Well, you can't use those, but I would just probably put protection, right? And then you can also make a global preset so other people can take it. And then you'd make another one, right? If you had a different build for him, maybe a Stone Skin Donnie, then you would make Stone Skin Donnie and boom, save it. And I would just flip through here. I don't really ever use swap gear. Pretty much the only thing I ever use is optimize, because that's what it's for, right? Now I can optimize sometimes builds inside JayRstaRaids game, the official. Instead of like there, sometimes you have to level like just a piece, and it can alter a lot. The optimizer can only find stats and requirements based on your leveled gear. If you have an ungeared level, like artifacts that are not leveled at all, like they're like 0 or like 2, it's not going to really be able to do much with that. You have to. That's why I always tell my viewers or watchers, I tell them to at least get gear to 8 or 12. Because if you have it at 4 or less, you're not going to be able to do nothing. You're not going to be able to really optimize, right? So here we have the improved brute force GPU, and you have GPU optimizer. Of course, if you use this, right, support for GPU accelerator is detected, selected. If you basically have a really good graphics card, you can use your graphics card if your CPU is not that great, right? So, which is pretty cool that they let you do this. You can also use remote optimization if you're having trouble with you can use it from somewhere else. But anyways, I don't really do most of this. I don't go really too intense with this. You can if you want to. I pretty much just use these 3 things, right from the get-go, right? You do also have past builds too. So if we think of Geralt, we're not going to build her balanced unless we're trying to do something provoke, or we're not going to go for survival unless we're trying to do maybe PvE, maybe. But let's be honest, her first form is a tank form, right? When you're building a champion, make sure you're looking at the skill kit and seeing how they scale, right, in terms of stats and what their damage is based on and what they're doing. Then you can come over here and then be like, oh, she's a nuker. I'm going to mainly use her in her second form. So you go to damage. You tell it the form you want to do damage, which is the alternate form, right? And then you tell it the skill, A1 or A2. Now, maybe you might think to yourself, this is pretty simple. This is pretty like, yeah, this is the most simplest part of it. But once you get deeper into it, it does get crazier. Search limiter just means how deep you want it to search. Like you want it to go like extra little, every little algorithm, every single calculation to the decimal to the single like digit, right? That so I don't like to go too much, nor do I like to go too less. I feel like a good number is like 65, maybe even 69. You know what I'm saying? So around there, whichever one you like. Presets, this is like quickly find artifacts. You can make presets. I don't use that. Now configure. This is one of the most important ones when you're configuring, right? Notice over here, mine is always set to 8. I always set it to the minimum to 8. Now the good thing about if you do 12, it's gonna give you better looking stats, right? Like in from the get-go. But 8 allows you. It's kind of like this middle ground between 4 and 12, right? If you don't have all your gear to 4. Because maybe you haven't leveled everything up during artifact enhancement, or you haven't, or gear enhancement, I guess they're calling it now. They're changing everything, the events. I would just get it out to 8 in general. It's cheaper to get to 8 if you want another, instead of 16 everything, right? Like 16 all your main gear, you can do it to 12. It's fine. It's cheaper way. People have been doing 12 for a long time, especially unless you're a spender. But I put it to 8 because sometimes if I find a build at 8 and I level up that gear afterwards, everything that comes afterwards is just a plus. Now you might argue, well, what if you get like crit rate and you're already at max and then you roll crit rate at 12? That does suck, but that opens up different builds as well. Anyways, so you can choose to include equip gear, right, which is your artifacts. You can include artifacts from required artifacts regardless of lock. You can come over here to, if you look at the champion, when we were choosing the champion, you can see there's this little lock. You can lock a champion based on a number. Okay? Right now I have Geralt as a normal champ, which means this gear can be stripped. If I were to take off Narcissus, as you can see, as a 5, that means it's on a special like requirement. Think of it as like ranks. Like rank 5 might be champions I only want to strip unless I tell it to. Never strip them. 4 could be like only PvP champions. 3 could be faction wars. And then 2 could just be like decent build, and 1 could be just like random shit. So I keep most of my stuff unlocked, as you can see. I only keep it locked if it's very, very important champion that needs to not be stripped. So we go back to Geralt, go back to configure. So that's what that does right here. Now, include artifacts on locked champions. Remember we were just talking about that? You can actually tell it to include artifacts, exclude locked champion tiers. So you could be like, exclude, priority 5. So grab everything from 1, 2, 3, 4, but do not touch my 5, right? Or you could tell it to, you can tell it to do like different variations, right? You don't have to just do only one. You can do it to like these and then that. So it's all how you want to do that part. I don't really do that when I'm building people's on my account or other people's accounts. I always try to build it without stripping no gear. Now, yes, gear is free nowadays, right? With free gear removal. Yeah, it kind of took them forever to release something that should have been there day one, right? But, they said their economy needed it. Yes, they needed to milk people for at least 6+ years. Your champion's current masteries will automatically. So if you choose this, right, for masteries, it'll tell you like, hey, your in-game masteries, right, if you can see my Geralt, does not match this, right, what I'm telling it. But I'm basically just telling it, hey, I'm going to put these stats on her anyways. I need you to find the build with these specific things already pre-put, even though it's not put in-game. Which is a really cool option. You can also click right here to reset this. So, of course, Geralt would need crit rate, crit damage. She can use accuracy in the first form, but most of the time you're going to go defense and then get the counterattack, offense, defense masteries. All right, we go battle. This is a battle scenario if you're trying to fight like a certain champion, a certain boss. You can actually break it down to the nitty-gritty. This is super 4-5 head, but honestly, if you build champions normal, you don't need to go this deep. Like legit. Only a free-to-play player who's literally saving every single dime and gem would go to this lengths to save energy. It's a little too crazy in my opinion. I never use this. stats. This is another important place. If you're not doing this right, you can actually not find the build you're looking for. So you might have to adjust based on stats. Now, Geralt is a nuker, so it's automatically choosing to put 100% crit rate because only certain con creators, right, or certain players, right, maybe 2-3 head players, are going to build their champions nukers with 98% crit and not 100 copium, right? You should always, in a turn-based game where you might only get 1 or 2 turns, always 100% crit. Anyways, so here's the thing. When you build a lot of speed, man, it's going to be hard to get every other stat. Okay, speed is one of the hardest stats to get, as well as crit rate. But crit rate can be gotten on gloves, and it can also be gotten on substats. You could argue the same thing about speed, right? But it's not every day that all your pieces triple, quad roll speed, right? While also having crit rate, crit damages, and stuff like that. But you might get like a lot more crit rates, honestly. Nowadays, it feels a little bit more 50-50 or like 40-60, 45-55. Back then, it was like I got way more crit rates than speed rolls. But now that the game is a totally different game, we have so many speed sets. It's crazy. Now you're reaching like 300 speed plus nukers, right? Back then, 200 speed nukers, you were a G. And if you had a 251 speed nuker, you were a Kraken back in days. So yeah. We don't need no accuracy for Geralt. We're not going to focus too much on that. We're not going to focus res, because we're not building a res nuker. We're going to be focusing on her crit damage, right? And we're going to be focusing on her speed. So let's just say, before here, you can see I have 159, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to go 251. I don't really care about the crit damage, because it's going to give me crit damage. It's going to build crit damage and attack, because she scales off that in the second form, as you can see. Look at the difference between attack. We have 5142, right? And then, boom, when she goes to alternate form, look what that goes to. That is nuts. Like, her second form literally gives her 2,000 plus attack, which is banana. Like, that's crazy. That is insane. And then her crit damage goes up, of course, because she's getting... crit damage can start off at 50, or 57, or 60, or 63. So I'm guessing she goes to 63. Let me actually see that. I'm actually curious. It does go to 63. And you can see in her base form, since she's a tank, they only give her 50. Why didn't they give her 57 or 60 in her base form? I don't know. I guess they really don't want people to do too much damage in the first form. And then since we're not building anything else but attack, it's going to choose attack and crit damage, because that's the only thing that can scale while you're going fast, right? Since you have 100% crit rate. Slots. Now, this is technical. This gets kind of crazy. Because you have to have your gear. If you have tons of like gear, but it's not ascended like this, right? You're not gonna. The game's not gonna be able to find. Like if this was like, let's put hyper. I should have probably done like a chest piece so I could show better off here. Let me see if I can, or a glove. If you get a percentage here, right? The game like that. The game is gonna be like, oh, I can take that and max this out, and you were trying to find a specific stat here, it can already put that. Now, you, as the user, can actually come over here and just manually go, well, tell the game to hypothetically build all the pieces as best as it can through an algorithm, and then hypothetically also put the ascension on that. So it would tell you, hey, bro, if you ascended all this gear, if you built all this gear and ascended it, you could get to the stats you want, right? So this can get very in-depth based on what you want to do. Now, for a nuker, it's not as crazy because all you're going to do is go crit damage there. You're going to go probably a attack percentage there. You're going to come over here and get attack percentage here. We're going to come over here to the amulet, put crit damage with crit damage, right? Over here, we're going to put attack on Geralt, and then, of course, we're going to come over here and get attack. That's simple. But over here on the top, since... Geralt is, I think, HP in the first form, but we don't really care. We're gonna go attack here as well. We could go if you're noticing your champions way too squishy, maybe you might go a little bit of HP. Someone like a Rotos will get some benefit from that, or He-Man, right? If you don't want to go all attack, you might go like, let me get a little bit of HP. I would have survived this in Live Arena if I just had an extra 1,000 or 2,000 or more consistency in PvE. You could go HP on the top, but you're always going to want to go main stat plus, you know, and double dip that, like so attack on attack right here, or crit damage, or crit damage, right? So you're going to do that. All right, we do all that. Go to sets. Now sets, you can specifically put what set, but it's going to grab it off your gear. So if you don't have the gear, it's going to go red and not give you a build, right? So of course I want this champion doing some form of ignore defense. But she's squishy, man. And I need time to metamorph, right? And I might not get that 251 speed. Now, if you want to get higher damage numbers, it's sometimes better to go slower. But in a game that's turn-based and everyone's going fast, I understand it's hard to go slow like this. So that's why I'm trying to see if I could get a build like this. I might lose damage, but let's try. We're going to go Stone Skin here, and let's go Savage first. I'm going to try Savage first. Cannot find it because I didn't choose Savage. So you have to choose Ignore Defense sets first. So I should have went Savage like this, and then you go Stone Skin. Since Stone Skin has accessories, that's why it's like that. Of course, that's a 4-piece set. This is a 9-piece. 4 plus 5 is the max because you can only have 9 in raid, right? 6 up here, 3 down here. So that is why the max right here says 5, because 5 plus 4 is 9. We're going to just do 4. We don't really need that extra. I'd rather have extra stat from whatever random accessory or gear. Now, here's another cool one, right? You can use... you can exclude glyphs from optimization, or you can include glyphs. I like to always include glyphs, but I don't really go hardcore. I go very minimal, right? Like that's like 4 speed, maybe like 5 ag, even though she don't need ag, but I'm just going to put it there for PvE. I'm going to go like 5 here, because 5% glyph is the natural of what this champion can have, and I can put it everywhere, right? Because I'm going to fully glyph this. This is a mythical champion. Of course I'm going to go hard on them, right, as the best as I can. I'll even put the res, even though it's not going to probably matter, because once you fully res it out, her res will probably be like 200-300, and I mean nowadays it's not that great because there's accuracy everywhere. Back then that would have been pretty good. All right, so boom, once you do that, right, it went start from start, and it went all the way down, right, all the way through each set of category except for past builds. You go to click optimize once you get to after glyphs. You're going to get here. Of course, we're going to keep the search limiter. We had it before, I think 5? Let's do 65. Or we could do 62. And it's going to tell you all the different filters you have that you told it. Right here. That's what all this information is. All right, so we're going to click start. Now, if it goes like this and it instantly goes red, that means it's impossible. You see? Literally, it's telling me, hey, bro, you cannot get a character at 251. I didn't tell it no crit damage, no attack. I just told it in Savage and 4-piece Stone Skin. And I even used glyphs. It said, no, bro, no. Now, maybe if I take off its attack and put speed right here, right? Let's try that. Once again, no. Now let's try something else. What if I try stronger glyphs and put 5? Boom, it found a build. So just like that, you can change your account, honestly. But it requires more investment. So as you can see, I found a Geralt build at 5,193, which is not that great. At 253 speed, which is decent. At 240 crit damage, which is not that great. Even though I have a 5-star blessing. I kept that shit for over a year. And I finally pulled Geralt. And she has this. Now, if we look at it, right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4-piece Savage, 1-piece. Once again, it's giving me crit rate again. Why do we keep getting crit rate? Now, if you're in this position, you're like, damn, you need to start getting gear. So I need to get more Stone Skin gloves. Let's go to gloves. Go to crit damage. Let me go to Stone Skin. You need to start getting more crit damage gloves that has what? Either attack percentage down there or speed, right? Because look, that one's the only one that has speed. Maybe if I go like this and I get speed. Oh, I got attack, but it didn't get speed. Maybe then my build would change, right? Because then the optimizer will be like, yo, you had more speed than you had before. Let me try to do it now, right? Now, this is a 5-star piece. You shouldn't roll this up, but I'm just trying to see if I get speed here. Wow. Lol. But what's the other one? Savage, right? So let's go to Savage. Let's go to gloves. Bro, what's my Savage gear? What the fuck? Do I have no... I have no Savage... Hold on. Oh, no, not like this. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know why Savage wasn't showing up. And all was... Dude, all my Savage... Do I have... Oh, it says storage. Equipped. Can't have Savage gear. Everything's equipped. Uh-oh. I have no Savage gloves. So that's why I had to use another... I have tons of them equipped onto people, as you can see. So your boy needs to farm. I need to farm a lot more Fire Knight Hard 10 and try to get gloves. Because it looks like this is all I have after all these years of playing Raid, right? Now, that is a little crazy to say that, right? You might be like, what the F? Like, that's it? Now, I've had probably 5-star crit damage gloves back then, right? Like, not just like this, but I probably had more stuff like this, or more stuff like this, or this is not even crit damage if you think about it, right? Let me go crit damage, and let's go like this. These are all the crit damage gloves I have, which is nuts. I have one 5-star and a bunch of random 6-stars that I'm probably just threw on people. Now, that's a good one. I've been using that one. And I can actually get this stronger, actually. I just realized I can get this more juicier for the doggy. But anyways, that's a problem. So I need to farm more, not Savage gear. Don't care about that. I need to find Savage gloves specifically. That's what's hurting the build here, because it keeps going crit rate. Now you could argue just don't use Savage, right? If it's the Savage is the problem, go do something else, right? Let me go Instinct. Notice I went Instinct and my attack went up. I'm now 7,000 attack at 246, 253. And we are still using crit rate Stone Skin. I don't have any available crit rate Stone Skin non-equipped on my gloves, as you can see, right? We don't have any. The only one I had was this one, and I probably needed to get speed again. If that would have let in speed again, it might have been able to rip that off. Now, maybe it could just be banner, right? Maybe it could just be the banners in Stone Skin for orcs. Let's check the banner on this one. Go to Stone Skin. Okay, we have res, no speed there. There's speed here. If this probably triple roll speeds, this, even though it's a wrong main stat, it could still fit the build. And then all we have to do is just eventually... Okay, that's horrible. That is horrible. Let's try to rework that. We get attack. Let's get some speed, please, with attack. Oh, we got one. We got one. Unfortunately, that should have double rolled or triple. That would have been beautiful. Does that beat 14? Most likely not. So, Sag. Let's try this one. All right. Well, that's not going to... I mean, unless I roll that to 16 and it beats 14 and it lands on there, maybe you could find it. Let's see. This is a huge risk. I only have 1.2 mil. I'm not doing that. It's too much. Now, of course, when you upgrade, it's going to say, hey, you got a new upgrade. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if I go back and see. Well, no, still looks the same. As you can see, still the same. Now, you could argue, well, your instant gear is not insane, right? It's only 11 speed down here, 10 speed right here, 6 speed right here, speed on speed boot there. But if that would maybe double, triple, you can get more. This is why sometimes you have to lose a little bit of speed to get the stats you want. I want to see if I put nothing here, but I push it to the damage. Let me push it to the damage thresholds. And I say, screw the speed, just give me the numbers, right? 7,166. Boom. Now we got crit damage here. Now we have attack here. We have attack here with no speed here. It didn't put nothing there, which is weird. Why didn't... I told it to put the speed. But you know why? because the speed threshold, it didn't need the speed right here. So I could put attack right here, right? And have even more than what the optimizer is telling me that it's going to be, which is 7,100. It'd be 7,500, right? Or even more based on her, what's her base attack in second form? So first form is like garbage. It's less than 1,000. Sheesh, 1,600 in second form. So yeah, the attack percentage does a lot of value on this character. A lot. But yeah, you can go around like and be like, oh, I want to go merciless instead. You know, I want to go merc. How much merc can I go? So of course you could go all 9. Try that out. Okay, first of all, let me take that off, and let me just put at least 200 right here, at least. And let's see if that's even possible to have 9-piece merciless. No. If I slow it down, is it even possible to get merciless? Let's see. 9-piece. If it goes red, it's literally impossible. Okay, fine. So let's not do, 9-piece is hard to do in every faction. Let's do 6. Can I do 6? Cool. It's going to find merciless. Now, I'm going to tell it it's got to be at least a minimum. Oh, hello? What the? Okay, that was being weird for a second. At least a minimum 200. Boom. We're reaching almost 8,000 attack. Ooh, 8446 at 300 crit damage. Moving at 200 speed. Okay. Now, when you go 6-piece, you get 3 pieces of something, right? So you can go 2-piece, like, you can go 2-piece zeal. You could do like 2-piece, like, crit damage, right? Like kill stroke. You could do some crazy stuff depending on the build. Now, we're going to click on this and see what it did. Okay, it put us in 1-piece stone cleaver because I have a really good crit damage, speed, and double crit rate. Ooh, that's a really good. Damn, I'm gonna have to actually use it on somebody. And then we have some random a toxic boot, right? But it turned out to be pretty good here. Toxic set. So I try to keep everything, even off pieces can sometimes still be decent when you're just doing like a 4/3 build, which is 7. There's 2 left over. You can still off piece can still be really good, right? But that's pretty much it, in terms of building. Now, when it comes into building supports, you basically would just do the opposite, right? So you're gonna be looking for like res. When you go to stats, you're gonna be pushing like highest res that you want. But like I said, if you build high AC or high res, just keep in mind your gear. Right? When you're gear cleansing your gear, you want to keep in mind the rolls that are coming on the gear, right? Like what it's doing. Because normally when you go to the artifact set, the set says so-and-so does this, right? 2-piece does this, 4-piece does this. It's not till we got to 9 pieces that are a lot more flexible, right? Because you could be like, well, I just want to build, if I have nuker gear in pinpoint, but it gives me that little 20 AC, that could be nice for someone like Rule the Huntsmaster, who needs a little bit of AC and he's a nuker, or like a Sun Wukong, right? Who can go straight nukage, or a little bit of accuracy could help you put block buffs, steal buffs, and also stun people, which could win you the game. So it all just depends on your build, how you want to do things and how you want to do it. That's pretty much it. Can it get a little bit more deeper? Yeah, when you start stealing equipped gear, you have to start. Definitely, if you're going to start stripping everyone, it's annoying, but you have to go and preset and keep everyone's champion preset. Not over global should only be if you're going to be standardly stripping, right? Like let's say you have the fastest champion, fastest booster, right? Your slowest champ or your HP nuker. Then you could do that, right? But here you just want to build them normally, so if somebody else wants to take their gear, you can always be like, oh, I want to use this champion again. Boom, just grab it. But just keep in mind when you're stripping gear over and over and over again, man, if you don't keep things presetted, you're going to lose everything. And you're going to have to rebuild everything. And that's going to take a lot of silver, ascension, and all that stuff. So another trick, which I wouldn't recommend this for everyone, but if you have tons and tons of oil, I would definitely if you have really good gear like this, you could go here and do this. Now people say, why even do that, right? If I can just tell the optimizer to do it, right? Not everyone can use the optimizer, but at the same time, it just takes less steps for you to go and actually put these options in. Sometimes I'm here spending like almost, I try to spend only like 5-10 minutes or less here. If you ever see me do it on stream, I try not to spend too much time here. Like, we're supposed to be playing the game, not be playing an optimizer screen, right? So, but yeah, I was doing that, and people kept telling me there was no point. I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep doing it. Because I'd rather just already, when I'm going through and be like, oh, it's attack here, right? I could just level this up now. I don't have to like sit there and go, man, I gotta force this to have to attack. And then you roll it, like, right, I'll give you an example. If it doesn't roll attack here, let's say it doesn't roll here, it did. Let me try another. Is it gonna all do that to me? Please, get something else than attack. Okay, like that, right? You'd be like, damn, now I gotta use Chaos Dust, right? So it just, in a way, it's like, it kind of like gets you to this point to use dust on gear, and you don't want to use dust unless that gear is optimized already. So just be careful when you're doing that. But anyways, that's pretty much it, and that's how you build optimized champions. And I'll be showcasing one of my champions that I use the optimizer for, that has been popping off lately. Oh man, I got some gear enhancement. All right, thank you so much. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you use the gear optimizer every day? Do you use it longer? Is there quicker methods that you use? Let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.